Before the ranch, before the cowboy hats, before the Dutton name ruled Montana, there was war. A young man held a rifle instead of a rope. A woman fought not just for land, but for her family's survival. And far from the plains, bullets tore through the skies as the world burned in 1944. But from that fire, a legacy was born. This is not just the beginning of the Yellowstone story. This is the moment that shaped everything. 44 was a year, soaked in blood and sacrifice. While America fought overseas in World War II, the land back home was changing. Far away from the cities and the coastlines, Montana stood quiet, but not untouched. In this new Yellowstone prequel, we see a young Dutton family thrown into the storm of history. The guns may be firing across the sea, but the real battle begins on the home front, and this time, it's personal. The Yellowstone prequel 1944 brings the Duttons into a world full of fear, duty, and secrets. For the first time, we are taken into a war-torn world, not just the ranch life. The story follows a young Dutton man, drafted into war, forced to leave his home and family behind. He doesn't just carry a weapon, he carries the name of a legacy that hasn't been written yet. The field of war becomes his classroom, teaching him pain, loyalty, and what it means to protect something greater than himself. Back home, the ranch is not quiet. It becomes a battlefield of its own. A Dutton woman, strong and determined, must hold the land together while men are dying across oceans. She faces greedy land buyers, dishonest neighbors, and the growing fear that her loved one might never come home. But she doesn't bend. She doesn't break. She rides into the storm with her head high and her heart full of fire. The beauty of 1944 is not just in the guns and horses. It's in the silence between the chaos. It's in the letters sent across the sea. It's in the lonely sound of boots on a cold floor. It's in the struggle of a family who refuses to fade. We begin to understand where the Dutton strength came from, not just in blood but in battle. What makes this prequel different from 1883 and 1923 is the world itself. In 1883, we saw settlers pushing west. In 1923, we saw industry and power begin to shape the land. But in 1944, we see survival in its rawest form. This story is not about expansion. It's about holding on to what's left. It's about a world at war, and a family learning how to stay together while everything falls apart. As the trailer shows quick flashes, planes roaring over Europe, a horse galloping through snow, a woman clutching a rifle near the barn, you feel the weight of history. Every shot, every glance, every tear feels real. Taylor Sheridan knows how to tell stories with silence and stares. In this prequel, even the land feels wounded. The sky looks darker. The ranch looks like a war zone, not just a home. This is where the Duttons were tested, not by land deals or cattle rustlers, but by war, death, and the cost of keeping a name alive. And through that pain, the Yellowstone name began to mean something. It started to stand for more than land, it stood for honor. And when the war ends, the Dutton who returns will not be the same man who left, and the woman who stood her ground will not be forgotten. The world of 1944 is not far behind us, and yet, it feels like another planet. But Yellowstone brings it close. It makes us feel it. It makes us care. This is not just a chapter of history. It's the first page of a legacy that still burns today. He left with a uniform and a rifle. He returned with scars no one could see. That's how the story begins for the young Dutton in Yellowstone 1944. He's not just a soldier. He's the link between a family's future and a war that could destroy it. The trailer teases glimpses of a battlefield somewhere in Europe, muddy, cold, and merciless. In one flash, we see the young Dutton crawling through smoke and gunfire, clutching a photo of his family. In the next, he's writing a letter by lantern light, the weight of Montana heavy in every word. This is the kind of war story that doesn't glorify violence. It reveals what it costs to carry a name like Dutton through hell. But the real strength of this series lies in the people waiting back home. At the heart of the ranch stands a woman, Maybe his wife, maybe his sister, or even a cousin, tough as leather, eyes like storm clouds. She runs the ranch with grit, not glamour. She's not just fighting droughts or rustlers. She's up against those who want to see the Dutton name erased. Land developers, old enemies, even local lawmen who don't play fair. Everyone sees the war as a chance to strike. But she doesn't flinch. She loads the rifle, she fixes the fences, she makes the calls. And in doing so, she becomes the first matriarch of Yellowstone's legend. Their stories run on two different paths, one on the battlefield, the other in the dust of the ranch. But they're tied together by survival. When he sees explosions, she sees fire in the fields. When he fights in silence, she argues in town halls and courtroom steps. They're both at war, but in different ways. And the trailer makes sure we feel every second of their separate struggles. Taylor Sheridan gives us short, emotional cuts. The soldier trembling in a foxhole. The woman alone at the ranch gate, watching a storm roll in. Then there's the shadow character teased in the trailer. The man in a dark coat who arrives at the ranch while the soldier is still away. His eyes are cold. He speaks softly, but every word feels like a threat. Is he a rival? A forgotten uncle? A stranger with a claim to the land? We don't know yet. But the tension he brings is thick, and it's clear he isn't just here for business, he's here to break something. The prequel also hints at a new generation. Children growing up too fast, learning how to brand cattle and shoot rifles before they can even read. One scene shows a young girl riding out alone at dawn, her face calm, her movements exact. Is she the future of Yellowstone? Maybe. Sheridan likes to plant seeds early, and this series is full of them. As for the soldier, we don't know what he'll find when he comes home. Will he recognize the ranch he left? Will he still fit into the family he tried to protect from afar? One of the final trailer shots shows him standing at the edge of the land, watching the sun rise over broken fences and burned fields. His jaw is clenched, his eyes are heavy, he doesn't say a word. But in that silence, we feel everything. Yellowstone, 1944, is not just about events, it's about people. People who carry names like armor. People who love land so deeply they die for it. And people who learn, through pain, what it really means to be part of something greater than themselves. Every character introduced feels real. Every moment shown feels earned. And as this chapter of the Dutton story begins, one thing is clear. Legacy isn't given, it's built, brick by bloody brick. He walks out of the smoke in a soldier's uniform, eyes sharp with pain, and fans instantly whisper, that has to be the new Dutton lead. The trailer for Yellowstone 1944 doesn't say his name. It doesn't have to. His presence is heavy, commanding, raw, and that's exactly what Taylor Sheridan wants. The casting for this prequel is not just bold, it's risky, powerful, and already stirring conversation across Hollywood. The biggest surprise? Garrett Hedlund, rumored to be playing the young Dutton soldier at the center of the story. After roles in Mudbound and Tron, Legacy, Hedlund brings the perfect mix of Southern grit and emotional depth. He's no cowboy here. He's a broken warrior. If early reports are true, his character's full name might be James Dutton III, tying directly to the family tree introduced in 1883 and 1923. This isn't just a young man in war. He's carrying the pressure of generations, and Hedlund's quiet intensity makes every scene feel lived in. And then there's the woman who refuses to let the ranch die. Lily Rabe, known for her haunting performances in American Horror Story, is strongly rumored to take on the role of the ranch's keeper while the war rages on. She's not flashy, she's not loud, but every look she gives in the trailer says, "This land won't fall, not while I breathe." Rabe brings a storm of emotion without ever raising her voice, making her the perfect counterweight to the chaos around her. But Taylor Sheridan doesn't stop with safe choices. He brings in a new face, totally unexpected, international breakout actress Ana Ularu, whose striking presence is felt instantly. Her role is still under wraps, but fans are speculating she could play a mysterious war refugee, or even a foreign resistance fighter who crosses paths with the young Dutton overseas. Her few seconds on screen, dirty, bloodied, but still defiant, are enough to start online theories spinning. She doesn't speak a word, but her stare says enough. She's seen things that change men forever. For longtime Yellowstone fans, one name stands out like thunder: Tim McGraw. After portraying James Dutton in 1883, whispers say McGraw may return in flashback sequences, giving us a voice from the past to guide the present. Maybe just as a memory. Maybe more. The trailer shows a brief glimpse of an old family portrait. And his face is there. Whether alive in memory or woven into the story through his legacy, McGraw's connection to 1944 is one to watch closely. The casting choices are clearly made with Sheridan's usual care. No one feels miscast. No one feels too polished. These are not models in cowboy boots. They're weathered, scarred, and beautifully human. Every face in this prequel feels like they've lived the pain they carry. That's what makes it Yellowstone. But one name remains a mystery. The man in the black coat, the one who appears at the ranch gate in the middle of the trailer. His face is never fully shown. His voice is never heard. Yet fans online are already convinced it's Josh Brolin in a secret role. Could he be a Dutton cousin turned enemy? A military commander from the past? Or the one man who knows the true cost of the Yellowstone land? Sheridan has refused to confirm anything, but that shadowy figure already has the internet buzzing. Every casting choice serves the drama, the grit, and the emotion Yellowstone fans live for. No overacting, no forced stars, just raw talent. Sharp eyes and performances that feel like they were born in the dirt of Montana and forged in the fire of war. This is not just another chapter, it's a reckoning. Yellowstone 1944 isn't built to comfort fans. It's designed to challenge them, to strip away the safety of the ranch and throw us into the most brutal time the Duttons have ever faced. And according to early leaks and trailer clues, this prequel might be the darkest and most emotional installment yet in Taylor Sheridan's expanding universe. Forget the slow build of 1883 or the power struggles of 1923. This story hits like a hammer from the first episode. We're dropped straight into two wars at once, one fought with guns, the other with grief and grit. Expect the opening scenes to split between Europe's frozen battlefields and the haunting stillness of the Yellowstone ranch covered in snow. The color palette is cold, the air is tense, and the message is clear. This isn't just a family drama anymore. It's a war story that will bruise you. Sources close to the production suggest a 6-episode limited series format, each one packed tight with conflict, heartbreak, and Sheridan's trademark quiet fury. These are not episodes meant to pass time. They're chapters of trauma and triumph. Short, sharp, and unflinching. With each installment, the stakes rise, not just for the land, but for the souls of those trying to protect it. The tone, gritty, raw, and emotionally devastating. Expect long silences between characters, broken by sudden bursts of violence or deep, painful truths. Sheridan leans heavily into showing, not telling. A cracked coffee mug says more than a monologue. A torn uniform speaks louder than a scream. There are no clear heroes here, just survivors doing what they must to keep a piece of their world from vanishing forever. Decay. 1944 prequel is also rumored to plant seeds for future spin-offs. A few scenes in the trailer show a child, perhaps a young John Dutton Sr., learning to ride, watching his family fall apart and pull together again. This isn't just backstory, it's setup. We may be witnessing the shaping of the man who would later shape the empire we know from modern-day Yellowstone. Another quiet theme to watch for: legacy through sacrifice. Unlike previous shows where land meant expansion, 1944 is about what you give up to protect what's yours. Blood is spilled not to take land, but to hold it. That subtle difference is what sets this series apart. It's not about power, it's about pain. As for the official release, Paramount has confirmed Yellowstone 1944 is slated for a late 2026 release, aiming for a fall premiere to match the tone of the series: cold winds, falling leaves, and long shadows. Filming is said to be underway in Alberta and Montana, with the same rugged natural backdrops used in 1883 and 1923, ensuring authenticity and visual continuity. The full trailer is expected to drop in early spring 2026, but the teaser has already done its job. It's left fans with questions, chills, and that unmistakable Dutton ache. Will the soldier survive the war? Will the ranch hold through betrayal and hunger? And will the Dutton name rise again from the ashes of 1944? These are the stories that built Yellowstone. Not just the place, but the myth. And when the screen fades to black on that final episode, one thing will be clear. Before Yellowstone became a kingdom, it was a battlefield.